Welcome back to my channel and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen and this is Jen Clayton Beauty. We do everything beauty and makeup, and that includes every month I rank all of the eyeshadow palettes that I tried the previous month from worst to best. And I actually tried 10 palettes in the month of March. So I'm here to let you know what ranked highest, what ranked lowest, and why. So if you're excited for another palette ranking, give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, turn your bell on because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. I will link all 10 palettes down below for you. Any discount codes, I'll put all of the information in the description box for you. You'll also find my favorite beauty boxes, all of the makeup that I'm wearing in today's video if you would like to recreate this look, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and come follow me on TikTok for more beauty and makeup. So let's rank the 10 eyeshadow palettes I tried in March from worst to best. Surprised that I tried another 10 palettes in the month of March. That seems to be the running theme, about 10 palettes per month. And if you do the math, that's a lot of palettes at the end of the year. But I love eyeshadow palettes. It's truly my favorite makeup product. And I tried some really, really good palettes in March, and I tried some disappointing palettes in March, and I tried some pretty bad palettes in March. So let's jump into number 10, which is the worst palette that I tried in March. And that is this one right here. This is the Doritos Cool Ranch eyeshadow palette. I did a testing new makeup video where I did a look with this eyeshadow palette. This is actually from Walmart and it's kids makeup. Yep, this is in the kids makeup section at Walmart and I had to try it out. I actually bought a lip product and a brush set from the kids makeup line, and then the Cool Ranch Doritos eyeshadow palette. Now the packaging of this is really cute. There is a mirror in the palette, and this is your color story. So truthfully, I thought the color story was really, really nice. It's definitely more on the neutral side, but we do have some pops of blue. We have some pops of orange. This palette is not good. It's not good. I mean, it's kids makeup from Walmart. It was less than $9. The shimmers, I will say, are really beautiful, especially this shade, Another Angle. This blue shimmer shade was really beautiful. I'll link my video I did down below for you, but the mattes were really sheer, really patchy, really hard to work with. Definitely, in my opinion, not even worth the $9 price point. Do not like this palette at all. Definitely the worst palette that I tried in March. Coming in at number 9 isn't a bad palette, but it just wasn't my favorite palette, and that's this little quad right here. This is the Cosmic Cowgirl Quad from AOA. This is the Shop Miss A line of affordable makeup. Again, I have a full video coming out, a full face of Shop Miss A. You're not gonna wanna miss it. There was some really surprising things. And like I said, this quad is not bad quality at all. It's 2 mattes, it's 2 shimmers. It's leaning on the coral side. Really fun kind of earth moon shaped pan embossing. Like I said, this isn't a bad quality palette, but it's a quad. So it just couldn't rank any higher. The shimmers are pretty similar on the eyes. You'll see that in the video, but the mattes blended out beautifully, applied beautifully. The shimmers were really pretty. It's just a 4-pan quad. I can't rank it any higher, even though I like this palette and it is staying in my collection. Next up was a surprising palette. It actually came in a beauty subscription box, and I mentioned in the unboxing that I wasn't really excited about it because I didn't typically like the eyeshadow palette formula. I swatched it in the video. It's swatched beautifully. And that's this palette from Wander Beauty. This is the Trailblazer eyeshadow palette. Now, I said in the video that I thought the color story was really pretty. I love these pops of kind of grungy green. It's a neutral palette with some colorful shades, some greens and some pinks. After I filmed that video, I used this palette on my eyes the next day. It was pretty darn good. The mattes applied really nicely. The shimmers are very beautiful, very sparkly. You can see that I dug into most of the shades. Pleasantly surprised about this. Much better Wander Beauty quality than I remember Wander Beauty quality being. I'm excited to use this again, to be honest, and I never thought that I would say that about a Wander Beauty palette, but this is actually really good quality. Next up is another palette that kind of surprised me. Again, it came in a subscription box. It actually came in my Trend Mood box. I did do an unboxing of that of the Trend New box. I'll link it down below for you. And that's this little palette right here from M Cosmetics. This is the Divine Skies little palette. Now I mentioned in the video that I thought that the pan layout of this was pretty fun, and I did swatch it in the video and it swatched beautifully. It's a mixture of some mattes and some shimmers in coral and pinky shades. Definitely a little bit more on the neutral side, but I mentioned in the video that I love that there's a pop of coral in a matte and a pink matte. Again, I applied this to my eyes. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It was my first time trying M Cosmetics, and this was really, really nice. The mattes were nice, the shimmers were nice. I will say that the two shimmers, these two right here, like I mentioned in the unboxing, swatched pretty similar to each other. Putting them on the eyes, there wasn't much difference. That's my only complaint about this and why this ranks a little bit lower, is these two shimmers just aren't that different on the eyes. I wish that this was a little bit lighter, maybe more of a champagne or even an icy white would have been a nice addition, especially for an inner corner highlight, but it performed beautifully. The packaging is really nice and weighted. I am quite impressed and excited to see what M Cosmetics releases in the future. Now this next palette I was so incredibly disappointed in. It's from one of my favorite indie brands. It's a very expensive palette. It's $79 before any discounts. And it's a palette that I was excited to put into my collection. And truthfully, I expected it to be the same amazing quality as all of their other palettes, and it just wasn't. And that is from Adept Cosmetics. And this is the Cyborg Choir palette. The packaging, beautiful. It's that nice faux leather ombre packaging. There is a mirror in the palette. The color story is so gorgeous. It is actually 2 full rows of the amazing Adept shimmers. These are foily, holochrome, multichrome, duochrome shimmers, and then 1 full row of matte. Now let's start with the positive. The shimmers, gorgeous. As expected from Adept Cosmetics, absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. This gold right here, so beautiful. Every single shimmer, million out of 10. Love, love, love the shimmers. Really grateful there's 2 full rows. Where we fall short is the mattes. This matte right here, number 7, is this bright, in-your-face, neon, citrine, yellow matte. No. It's horrible. It's a pastel, but a terrible pastel. It blended away to nothing on my eyes. I also tried the purple in the palette. Again, not very opaque, very patchy, very sheer. I even tried the blue matte, also extremely patchy, really hard to build up. Did not try the black matte in the palette, but I did pop the purple on my lower lash line. That performed nicely on the lower lash line, but it was 1 swipe. It's not something I applied to my lids, so I don't know if it performs any better on the lids. I was just so incredibly disappointed. I'll link my review video down below for you. I just expect way more from Adept, and I expect way more in an $80 eyeshadow palette than what I got in this one. If you took the mattes out, the shimmers, well worth the money, not worth $80. Absolutely not worth $80. Now I did use a discount code, but between the discount code and shipping, I still paid around $80 for this palette. I even sent an email to Adept and asked them, did I get a dud? I'm not sure what happened, but I buy from you all the time, and the mattes in this palette are terrible. Never heard back from them. So I'm really disappointed in a lot of aspects with Adept Cosmetics and this Cyborg Choir palette, and it really makes me rethink future purchases from the brand. And to be honest with you, I probably won't be purchasing any more Adept palettes this year unless I get them on a major sale, because they're just, I feel like the quality is getting worse, not better. Even the Flying Fiddles palette, that palette I really enjoyed, but it wasn't as good a quality as the other Adept palettes. So I'm hoping they make some major improvements in their mattes, but man, was this palette a big, big, big disappointment. And the only reason it's ranking higher than the other palettes is because the shimmers in here are exceptional. Now my top 5 palettes are really, really good. Like really, really, really good. And truthfully, these 5 palettes could have fallen anywhere in my top 5. So coming in at number 5 is this cutie right here. This is from Ladybug Glow Cosmetics. It's the End of the Rainbow palette. I got this in my ice cream beauty box, and this palette, she is the cutest darn thing I've ever seen. The color story of this is so unique, so beautiful, and everything about this palette is so good. The mattes are beautiful. They're opaque, they're buttery, and the 3 shimmers are multichrome, holographic, duochrome, beautiful shades. They're stunning, and I love that the 3 shimmers pair beautifully with every single matte in this palette, and the mattes are so unique. I mean, we have a couple purple shades, a bright yellow, a deep dark green, a brown, and a Kelly green. I mean, very, very unique, but somehow they work, and they pair beautifully together. Loved my eye look that I created. This is the only palette that I have from Ladybug Glow, and actually the only palette I've tried from the brand. Definitely on my radar. I'll be picking up more, and I loved that I got this in my ice cream beauty box because I discovered an indie brand that I really like. This little End of the Rainbow palette, so good. You can actually purchase this on their website, so I'll link it for you. Coming in at number 4 is from another one of my favorite indie brands, and that's Gourmand Girls. It is a woman-owned small business, and their eyeshadow palettes are really good. This was amazing. I have a full video on this. I'll link it down below. This is the Nueva Vida palette, which was in collaboration with Steph's Beauty Stash here on YouTube. I truly love everything about this palette. I mean, it's neons, and I love a good neon eyeshadow palette. The mattes, the shimmers, everything is so beautiful. These neon shades are neon. Unlike the Sideboard Choir palette, that was nothing, sheer patchy mess. These are beautiful. The orange, the green, I use the green in my look. It's everything I want in a neon. This purple is beautiful, and I love that we have some deeper shades to deepen up the look. The shimmers in this palette are absolutely beautiful. They're gorgeous, they're sparkly, they're multi-chromes, they're duochromes, they're just absolutely beautiful. This palette is so good. So good, the typical amazing gourmand girl quality. Coming in at number 3 was a new to me indie brand. Actually, I've heard of the brand, but I've never tried the brand until now, and that's It's Belle Cosmetics, and this is Under the Full Moon. As soon as this was released, I saw the color story and said, Mama needs. Mama needs. This is a beautiful color story. It is blue, it is yellow with some grunge. It is absolutely unique and beautiful to my collection. And like I said, I'd never tried It's Belle Cosmetics, but I loved the grunginess of this. I love that there is some light, mid-tone, and deep mattes. There's these beautiful shimmers. I was blown away by the quality of this. Again, I did a full tutorial. I'll link that video. I'll put all the videos I've done because all of the rest of the palettes, I have full videos on them. This is so good. So good. I loved my look. Everything about this palette was a 10 out of 10. I can't wait to see what they release this year. And I'm excited to have another indie brand on my radar that I really fell in love with. Such a great palette. We are on palette number 2. Now, number 1 and number 2 were really hard for me to place. Either one of these could have fallen as number 1, but coming in at number 2 is from Ensley Rain Cosmetics, and this is the Groovy Garden palette. Who do I love Ensley Rain Cosmetics? I bought the Cold Moon palette. It was in my ranking last month, fell in love with it, fell in love with the brand, and as soon as I saw that they were releasing Groovy Garden, I knew I wanted to grab it. Not only is it a warm tone palette, it is a neutral palette from the brand. Now, Cold Moon is a cool toned palette, beautiful cool tone palette, but I wanted a warm tone palette from Ensley Rain, and she did not disappoint. The mattes, amazing. The shimmers, beyond amazing. Everything about this palette is so good. Light mattes, mid-tone mattes, deep mattes, light, mid-tone, and deep shimmers. Absolutely stunning quality. The mattes, they blend beautifully. They layer beautifully. My eye look, I got so many compliments on my eye look with this palette. I fell in love with Ensley Rain. And again, it's another brand that I kind of feel like I want to buy everything from, so we'll see what else they come out with this year, but I cannot recommend the Groovy Garden palette enough. And last but not least, drumroll please, coming in at number 1 from one of my favorite indie brands, Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Ireland Wild Atlantic Way palette. Let me just show you this palette. I mean, if you love green eyeshadow, you're gonna love this palette. It is the most beautiful, amazing green eyeshadow palette. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other colors in here. We have quite a few neutral options as well. We have some cool tones, we have some warm tones. What I love about this palette is it's grungy. It is grungy green. The shimmers, amazing, absolutely amazing. The mattes were very buttery. They blended out beautifully. The look that I created in my video with this palette was one of my favorite green looks that I've ever created. This is my favorite palette from Nomad Cosmetics. Now, there's been a couple other releases last year and this year that I've loved, but this one, hands down my favorite from the brand. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. If you want to try out Nomad, if you've never tried out Nomad, pick this up because you will not be disappointed. I love the velvet packaging. I love everything about it. It had to be #1 in my ranking. Those are the 10 palettes that I tried in March, ranked from worst to best. Let me know down below, which of these palettes did you try? What do you think of my ranking? If I hate a palette you love, I love that for you. If you hate a palette I love that for me. We all have different tastes in our eyeshadow, but let me know down below, which of these palettes did you pick up? Are you interested in picking up? And what did you think of where I placed them? And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. Again, subscribe, turn your bell on because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. I will link all 10 palettes down below for you so you can get your hands on them, as well as my favorite beauty subscription boxes, all of the makeup that I'm wearing in today's video if you would like to recreate this look, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and come follow me on TikTok for more beauty and makeup. So that's a wrap on all the palettes I tried in March.